And let's see. Hello? Oh, okay, we got to have volume here. I don't know if anyone's here now. We're going to try this again. We are live, starting again. I don't know if anyone's here yet. If you are here, oh, working now. Okay, good. Well, different microphone, so we're trying this again. Okay, thank you everyone for switching. I mean, that has just been my day today. Can I just say, like, my hair's all dry and frizzy. It's going everywhere. It's chilly and windy here. Everything's good though. Life is good because those poor people in LA. Anyway, what I was saying is we have so much to talk about. I thought we have to go live because there is just way too much to go over. Breaking news in medicine, the weird stuff going around the country that I do want to talk about because I was able to kind of like, I had questions myself over what was going on. But yeah, Patrick, hilarious. I know, right? But you guys can hear me now, so it's good. Well, so let me say hello to some people because we lost them on the last video. Hopefully they'll come back and be on this one. So because Tina was on the last one. Steve was on the last one. Hi, David from Texas, Lori, Pat, Mary Jo, Kim, Cindy, Stacy. Yay. Mark. Hi, Stacy. I miss you. Stacy's amazing. She's awesome. Heather. Okay, there's so many. SWJ from Maine. Dana from Canada. Okay, so yeah, you guys get it. Dry, frizzy hair. Like, ugh. Okay. We're going to start off with the latest medical news because what I was saying before when you couldn't hear me, there are sociopaths and psychopaths in any profession. And I hate when it happens in medicine because, you know, I know in 2019 when everything really broke, right? And hardly anyone, based on my last video, when I was talking about the new vaccine they're working on for staph infections, resistant staph infections, like I would say 99% of people were like, oh, hell to the no. We are not getting that. And how can I blame you? I don't blame you. Like, look what healthcare did. Nobody trusts healthcare anymore. And I don't blame you. I really don't blame you. So I got to call out the people in medicine because I don't know. I just need how do we protect ourselves? Well, let's just get into it. So in Florida, this just came out. They've arrested a physician because he was involved in activities with those under the age of 18. And most of the activity was online. But what really got to me, and if there's any children in your room right now, like if you have this up on your big screen or your TV and you're watching it, maybe have the kids leave the room because this is not for them, right? Okay, so this is a regular doctor. By the way, he was a hospice doctor, which really, because it takes a special person to be in, well, maybe not special, but it takes a certain type of personality to be in hospice because it's not a glamorous job and it's an important job. And, you know, you have to have a heart and some form of empathy and caring, at least in my opinion. So he was involved with these activities with those under the age of 18. And what stuck with me is when he was online, he was instructing our vulnerable population to do things like injure themselves, show pictures of them doing that, show pictures of them in compromising amounts of clothing or positions, if you know what I mean, without being gross. And it's very, very sad because one of the individuals, and I had to bring up the local Florida article here too, one of the individuals, she ended up, just in case there's young ones watching, she ended up deleting herself based on the instructions he gave her on how to use like a rope, if you know what I mean. And she did this in front of her cell phone and did not survive. Horrific. I mean, I can't even imagine. Yes. So a little bit, this story just came out. So, and I'm not going to name him because why? You know, I don't, you know, so he's being arrested on lots of charges, and he faces life in prison if he does get, goes to court and they find him guilty, which I can't imagine why they couldn't. And he had this, so he wasn't using his doctor name online. He was using like this other name online. Reported that he was talking to 10 minors online and just telling them different ways to harm themselves. Like, what? And he was a palliative hospice doctor. So to wrap my mind around this, I was like, okay, so is this guy a psychopath? Is he a sociopath? Like, what in the heck? Well, I read some other articles and his staff in his office was shocked. They were like, he was so nice. He was charismatic. Everybody liked him. And I was like, oh, okay. And here's the hallmarks of, do you guys know psychopath or sociopath? Which one is it? What do you guess? What do you guess? Because I'll tell you, there's some hallmark red flags. It looks like through the pictures I can find of him, he's got like a little, nothing wrong with ponytails, but he's got a kind of a ponytail that's tucked under, which I don't know. That doesn't mean anything, but I'm just saying this is what he looked like. He was not old. He looks like he's in his 50s. And so I don't know. Is he trying to look young? I'm not sure. But I guess his wife even worked for some child welfare, like alliance or something. I mean, what a cover, right? And apparently she was shocked. Everyone he worked with is shocked. Okay, so the red flags, very charismatic. He's in this field of where patients are really vulnerable, right? Hospice and palliative care. Anyway, long story short, psychopath. Okay, psychopath, because psychopaths, they can't feel empathy. They tend to be very charismatic. And yeah, they will definitely try to get others to harm themselves. Let me find my notes here. They like control. They're thrill seekers. If you're online telling people to hurt themselves, yet during the day you're a doctor trying to help people, like that's a negative thrill seeker for sure, because like you are going to get caught. They lack empathy. Well, of course, if you're telling young people to harm themselves, there's no empathy there. And serving their own interest. Yeah, I'm sure whatever he got out of that. So definitely a psychopath. So how can you recognize a psychopath? You know what? I don't think you can. However, I actually took a video down of someone I used to work with a long time ago, and he got arrested and stuff. And it's like, I always got, what's a good word for this? Like that uneasy feeling around him, like something's up. This person's just not right. The hair on the back of your neck, and just the ick factor. I'm not saying that when you get this from someone, everyone's a psychopath, but turns out that guy was no good anyway, right? But okay, I wanted to share that story. And then of course, all these other stories came out, which I'll do separate videos on that. But I thought I had to share that because I always think patients need an advocate, a family member, a friend with them when they're getting care, especially because it's so hard to understand medicine. Like you can ask questions and take notes, but it's still like really hard unless you have, I don't know, someone with you. So I know most of you all know that it's always a good idea to have a family member checking on you, especially if you have a loved one, they're in the hospital all by themselves. Nurses are being pulled in all different directions these days. They can't always stay on top of like, oh my gosh, is your loved one drinking the water they need to be drinking? Or is there like in Arizona, we have shared hospital rooms. So there's a bunch of strangers a few feet away in the other room. Like, I don't know. I think we need to rethink safety in the hospitals, but okay, let's switch gears for a second because next I want to talk about the fires in Los Angeles. And let me look at some of your comments first. Yeah, agree. It's just so weird that he was. Oh, Scott from South Carolina, you made it on this one. Okay, thanks for flipping over to this one. Yeah, I mean, to be in such a vulnerable field, hospice. Okay, so you guys are kind of talking about some interesting things in the comments, so I'll leave you to do that. Oh my God, Stacy, yes, I was going to say heebie-jeebies, but I didn't want to sound like I was 17 again. But yes, you get the heebie-jeebies. Exactly. It's what I wanted to say. That's the perfect word. Okay. So what is going on with those fires in LA? And I kind of, looked into it a little bit. And then I stumbled across this website. I'm going to blow it up and show it to you here. This is so cool because my son has a friend driving back in town. He had to evacuate. He doesn't own a home. He was renting there. And even though his complex wasn't on fire, the air quality of the air was so terrible. He's like, I'm out. And he's almost back in Phoenix now. But I was hearing about all these places around San Diego losing power, losing electricity. And I was like, yeah, well, what about the Southeast, like Texas, South Carolina? Like, what's their temperature? There's a website called poweroutage.us. Look at this. See that? And so it's showing the two regions where it's having the most power outages in the country right now. So you can just go to that website and it'll tell you which region. So apparently in the Pacific Edge, like where California is, 1.8 million power outages. And in Texas right now, it says over 10,000. So there's so much going on. So we have that going on in LA with the fires. I was listening to the radio news on the way home today. And if you remember Gary Hall, he was an Olympic swimmer. He was talking about his house is burned down. He only had time to grab his gold medals from the Olympics, his dog, and a painting of his grandfather. And then literally like embers were like on the house. He barely had time to get into the car before like the smoke and the flames were like on his house. And it's really sad that he just lost all that. And he was talking about in the Pacific Palisade area where he lived, there's, kind of the village with all the shops and the restaurants. It's all gone, burned out. And I haven't looked at the maps, but he was saying about 33,000 people just lived in that Palisades area alone, all out, don't have a place to live. Like, where are they all going to go? I think we're going to have a lot coming our direction. And the wind here today, crazy, very windy. And so flipping over just for a second to the southeastern part of the country, I was reading here, unprecedented winter storm heading that way with snow and ice on the way. And you guys in that area, let's see, because I know we have Texas here, we have the Carolinas here. You guys know that storm's coming, right? And I did read, I wanted to fact check it. Let me make sure that was correct, because it did say unprecedented. Let's see where I put that here. Yeah, so like we have fire on one side of the country and snow, ice, and unprecedented whatever on the other. Like, what? Usually in the summer, we roast here in Arizona, but I've never been more grateful that I'm in Arizona right now. I don't know. Someone put, I'm from Bristol, Virginia, Tennessee. So Sandra, is it getting, obviously, is it unprecedented cold there where you are right now? So look, I'm going to just fact check that real quick here while we're, yeah. Oh yeah, unprecedented, unseasonably cold ice and snow heading to that region of the country. And so what happens with ice, and you all know that lives in this part of the country, ice gets on the power lines and then it snaps or it breaks and then people lose power. And so, my gosh, I knew 2025 was going to be interesting, but oh my gosh, we're only 7 days in and good night. Like what in the world? What in the world? Okay. In Estonia, we get extreme snowstorm, 50 centimeters of snow in 2 days. Oh my. Ice in Atlanta tomorrow morning. Yeah. New Brunswick, Canada, we only have maybe 2 inches of snow. Yeah, that's bizarre. Like, so we're going to all get it here in the South. The lower 48, right? I'm south of Raleigh by 20 minutes and we're getting a substantial amount. Okay. Huh. Yeah. Oh, Stacy, I was commenting to you. I'm sorry, I got you mixed up with another Stacy. You're probably like, what is she talking about? I don't know her. You have a very similar name to a friend of mine that lives here in town. So I thought you were the same person. So you're probably like, what is she talking about? She misses me. No, I was talking about another Stacy. So I'm sorry about that. You're probably like, what is she talking about? Scotland is below 0 temperatures. And are you guys getting snow there as well? Southern Idaho, no snow, but in the 30s, which, yeah, I mean, I think that's pretty consistent from Idaho, from what I can remember. Scotland is 8 below. Okay. Oh, yeah. Subnautica below zero. Yeah. So unprecedented cold. And of course, I mean, California always gets those Santa Ana winds, very, very strong winds. They've always had a great risk of fire. But let's just check because I have my instant way of checking here. I believe last I heard this afternoon, it was not contained as far as the fire in LA. Let's see what this status is on that real quick. Okay, so the Sunset Fire in the Hollywood Hills has been fully contained. Evacuation orders have been lifted. The Woodley Fire, it's also contained. Good. Palisades Fire, that's what we were just talking about. 0% containment. It's one of the most destructive fires in Los Angeles history. If you've ever been to the Pacific Palisades or that area in LA, it is so beautiful. I mean, my gosh, it's giving Maui all over again, right? 0% containment. The Eaton Fire, 0% containment, California. Very significant impact on structures and lives still with the Eaton Fire. The Hearst Fire, some containment, about at 10% at the latest report. And the Lydia Fire, they have multiple fires all over, 40% contained. So this is still a big deal. It's still raging. So yeah, what's going on there? So I know with the temps getting cold, and I just keep saying like, oh my gosh, but at least our house is intact. Our house hasn't burned down. So if you're watching from LA, I hope you guys have made it to friends, relatives, and get out of that smoke. That it's just not good for you breathing all those chemicals that are up in the air. If you can get out of the area, that would be, obviously, that. What am I saying, right? Yeah, Heather, you said it. That's right. Our hearts, all of our hearts go out to LA. Oh, thank you for being here. Okay. Blueberry Pamper Storm. No, I don't know what that is. North Carolina, middle of the state news calling for cold, wind, and snow. Yeah, you guys, we're starting to sound like the Weather Channel, but isn't it so weird? Because what did we have? And I did a short little video. You probably heard me like being weird. What do we get? Like drones? We're seeing drones in the sky. And then what was the other big thing? People seeing UFOs, of course. And then, of course, the election, that was, I guess it wasn't that big of a surprise, right? And so hopefully winds of change in America as far as healthcare, health. I mean, we've got to turn this around. And then we have these fires. And now we have unprecedented cold. I tell you what, you need to be strong to be living in America right now, right? So let's switch gears and talk about what everyone, there was a few people talking to me about this today, the virus out of China. Should we go there? Yeah, we're going there. So guess what? Let me bring up my notes on that because I just had it. It's called the metapneumovirus. Okay, so guess what? This is no new thing. If you guys are looking at any of the videos coming out of China, don't be scared. Don't be scared. This is nothing new. It's been in the United States before. It's been around for decades. So it's called HMPV, or metapneumovirus. And so the videos that are circulating are people getting locked down. The hospitals are overfilled, overcrowded. They all have their masks on again. It's giving 2019, 2020 all over again. But don't panic, because I don't know why they're trying to freak us out, because I got to tell you the real story of this virus, HMPV. It was first identified in 2001, right? 23 years ago in the Netherlands. It's in the same family. If you've ever heard of RSV, if you ever heard of the RSV virus, like little babies get really bad where they're wheezing and then, they need to go and be on the the bronchodilators in the hospital. We used to do the liquid for them. Oh gosh, what's the name of that? Prednisolone. And they'll put them in the little high oxygen little cribs and whatnot. But so it's in the same family as RSV. So if you're a baby or you're very elderly, yeah, it like affects you more. But you're familiar with RSV. Not that it's great, but you're familiar with it. And so, what does RSV do? It's in the same family. So it's the same kind of symptoms as the common cold, like dry cough, stuffy nose, headache, right? Nasal congestion. So now in some people, like I said, babies and the very elderly. And when I say elderly, like not the healthy elderly, right? So with the immunocompromised. So they might get, bronchitis, pneumonia, and things like that. So now there's a surge of that in China right now. And they're seeing it, of course, more in, guess what? Children, right? For sure. And it's hitting more in the northern region, northern parts of the country. And, here's the deal. They said they're just overcrowded in the hospitals. So that's making me think, well, they had plenty of healthcare during 2019, 2020. What happened? What happened to all those people? What happened to those staff members? What happened to those facilities? I don't know. I can only guess, and I don't want to guess. So I don't know what's going on there, why they're making such a big deal out of it. Is it because they're sensitive? Here they were talking about maybe they're sensitive because people are still like kind of shocked about like when they had COVID and went through that and they don't want to get sick again, or maybe they saw a family member. I don't know. But what I'm trying to say is this is not a new virus. It's been in the United States for decades. It goes around seasonally. Most urgent cares and emergency rooms can test for it. Usually your primary doctor in an office is not testing for that. They're probably like, oh, you have bronchitis. I had a patient recently that they went and consulted with another doctor, were put on antibiotics, and did not get better. And I said, well, first of all, you could have come to me. But anyway, then they did come to me. And I said, well, did they do any testing? No. I'm like, okay, they just put you on antibiotics. Okay, whatever. So I did a chest x-ray, did some lab work because you can determine whether it's bacterial or viral. Well, chest x-ray was completely clear. Lab work was fine. I was like, yeah, you have a virus. It's some type of bronchitis. You don't have pneumonia. Do not take any more antibiotics because that messes up your microbiome. Anyway, he was fine. So, just don't be worried about that. If you're seeing stuff and you don't know what's going on and you're worried about the next thing, don't be worried. It's been here in the United States. This is nothing new. Just, keep fortifying your immune system. Okay? Yeah. Because what else is going around right now? The flu, RSV, pneumonia, pertussis. I've talked about that. There's always things going around. So, yeah, we're just not going to be scared, right? We're not locking down. We're not going to be scared. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Oh, I like those little alien cartoons in the comments. That's cute. Oh, you're immunocompromised and live with your 95-year-old mom. Can't risk getting sick. Yeah. And that's the thing too. Like, we're not going to lock down, but we're adults, right? We know how to make decisions. If we don't want to go out and get exposed, stay home and have your neighbor shop or shop online or whatever, right? I do everything I can to help my immune system because I'm around sick people all the time, and knock on wood, I'm doing fine, right? So I'm going to go out and go grocery shopping. But yeah, we got to make our own decisions because I think that broke us as a nation. We're not doing that again. So I hope that helps. Does that help? I hope that helps explaining that in a simple way, right? Okay, because I had a couple people ask me about that today, and I thought that was important. Oh, and I should mention too. Yeah, I see someone. Thank you. You put that about vitamin C, oil of oregano, olive leaf extract. Yeah, be careful with the oil of oregano. It's not meant to be taken orally. It can be toxic. And don't just put it in your ear, because if someone has a ruptured eardrum, you can really cause a problem dumping something in there. So just be careful. Make sure you're getting the type of oil of oregano that's meant for consumption in the form of usually like an herbal capsule. D3, zinc, and C. Yeah, I know. I like all that too. I agree. But a lot of doctors talk about N-acetylcysteine or NAC. And I love that too. It's really great for respiratory protection. It's really great for those with COPD, emphysema, and bronchitis. However, N-acetylcysteine initially comes from cysteine, an amino acid found in many, many foods. In the body, it converts to glutathione, a potent antioxidant, but it's very lung protectant. So those with COPD have great improvement on N-acetylcysteine. It's a supplement. People that overdose on Tylenol, guess what IV they get in the emergency room? N-acetylcysteine, right? Because it will save their life. So then I'll have patients tell me like, oh yeah, you told me to be on NAC. I'm on it every day. I'm like, no, don't take it every day. Well, you do what you want, but I tell my patients, don't take it every day, because even though it's so lung protectant, you yourself don't have emphysema or COPD or chronic bronchitis. And I get it. You're taking it every day to be healthy, have a healthy immune system. But studies have shown if you take it every day, it could lead to adenocarcinomas. I know. And if you're being treated for cancer, it can kind of interfere with that. So, my advice to my patients, not you, the public, I'm just entertaining you here. My advice that I give to my patients, because I see them in person and I know their history, is if you're exposed to someone sick, or you're having a cough, respiratory issue, or you're going to be working in the ICU, take N-acetylcysteine and then get off of it. I feel that that's helpful for my patients to know, and it's entertainment for you. It's like being a fly on the wall, right? I'm not telling you to do it though. Okay, ask your own doctor about that. Okay. Tylenol helps you when you get flare-ups. Yeah, I mean, that's fine. You do you. I'm really careful with my patients with Tylenol, because there's been rumors that, they're thinking about reducing the dosage or changing the label, because if you take too much, it's very toxic to the liver. I feel like pretty much everybody knows that. But yeah, diverticulosis, that's no joke, especially the pain with that. If Tylenol works for you, we're only on this planet for a short period of time. If it gives you good quality of life, I mean, you got to do what works for you, right? It's a must. Yeah. So someone here put NAC is a must be to take. Yeah. But did you know that you're not just supposed to be on it every day? That you're not supposed to do it that way. However, if you talk to your doctor and there's some certain thing going on that you need to be on it every day, you can talk to them about that. But I just feel people are so fast and loose with like, yay, N-acetylcysteine, take it every day. It's like, no, not everyone can do that or should do that. Yeah, because it turns into glutathione, so it can decrease the hangover symptoms. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So your body makes glutathione naturally. It's a process that occurs in the liver, but whether it's dietary, and as we get older, we don't make as much. And if your body needs that extra bit of cysteine or N-acetylcysteine, then it can convert into glutathione and do what it needs to do. But not everyone is lacking that, or not everyone has respiratory issues. You're seeing the nuance in what I'm saying. Okay. That's all they give here in the hospital here in Canada is Tylenol. Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, yeah, it's all over the world. Yeah, I mean, I get it. You know what, Tylenol though, which was interesting, and this is back in my hospice days. I had a hospice doctor that was giving Tylenol to our patients that had metastatic bone cancer, and I said, Tylenol, that's all you're gonna do? And he said, yeah, it's morphine won't even touch that. It's Tylenol. Tylenol works for bone pain. And I never forgot that. And I just thought, oh, okay. So, patients that have fractures or, um, yeah, like metastatic bone cancer or some other bone, Osgood Schlatter, I guess, like some kind of bone issue, hyperparathyroidism, or, so Tylenol would be the one for bone pain. I just thought that was really interesting, like even stronger than an opioid. So, yeah. Yeah, you're right. Everything you're saying about NEC is correct. Except, when I ran across that if people take it daily or while they're under chemotherapy, it can cause an issue. And I was like, oh no, it's just good to know. What about a steroid? Yeah, I mean, every now and then I'll have to use a steroid with my patients because I know if they have gout, By the way, I'm not a huge fan of steroids, but your body makes steroids. Your adrenal glands that sit on top of your kidneys make something called cortisol, right? So that is a steroid. Your body, men make testosterone. That's a steroid. Like estradiol, that's a steroid. I know they're hormones, but they're steroids. Um, so, but yeah, if someone has gout and they're in excruciating pain, yeah, you give them a steroid. It takes that pain and inflammation down, and that really can give quality of life. I'm not a huge fan of some patients that are offered steroids every day because they have a certain autoimmune condition. Again, it depends on the patient, right? Because steroids can break down bone so quick. And so, again, you have to kind of weigh the pros and the cons of so many things. But anyway, so there's that. When you had your thyroid removed, your ENT sent you home with, I think you meant to put Tylenol 3 with codeine. Yeah, I know. Everyone's doing that now. We're also afraid of calling in opioids anymore because they're going to accuse us of, I don't know, medicine's broken. I've said it before. I'm sorry. And I complain all the time that we are not treating pain correctly. I understand a lot of people got addicted and all that, but now everyone is suffering when there's a lot of people that are not addicted. And every now and then, like I had a patient telling me they had to go get surgery on their shoulder. They're a very, very healthy person. And they were in the hospital and were not given pain medicine. And he kept pushing the call light, like, you've got to get me some. And they weren't giving it to him. And I'm sorry, that's torture. Like, what? So I don't know. We're going off on a rant here, but patient had bone cancer and a Tylenol suppository worked well. Yeah, Tylenol's great for bone pain. That's right. That's really good to know. That's why, I know Tylenol's toxic, but you better believe it, in my little survival first aid kit that I have. Yes, I have Tylenol in there because if anyone breaks a bone or has some bone issue, then I know Tylenol's going to work. Yeah. That's a good question if gabapentin is good or bad. Here's the deal with that, which I've seen being in medicine for, I feel like forever. It used to be back in the day, we would only give gabapentin for neuropathy pain. And now everyone's giving it because no one's prescribing opioids anymore. So guess what? Everyone's like, do you want gabapentin? Because it's for nerve pain. Let's just use it umbrella for pain. In an umbrella way. God, I can't talk. In an umbrella way for pain, right? So yeah, I've seen that all over the place. We do have GABA receptors in our brain, and that's where gabapentin hooks onto. They do make a natural GABA supplement you can get over the counter at a health food store, and that attaches to the GABA receptors as well. But I tell my patients, you have to be very careful with either one of those because, sometimes people don't feel good on it or they get really tired and they can't go to work on that. But, they say, it's a very low schedule drug, which means it's not very addicting. However, I've had patients on it. One, because they requested it and I feel like it's pretty safe. So I've had patients on it before and now they don't want to be off of it. And that's not great, right? Because the whole goal is to maybe try something for a little while and then get them off of it. But I know everyone's prescribing gabapentin now because everyone's afraid of prescribing pain medicine anymore. So that's the deal with that. Well, Sharon, your question about what's best for restless leg syndrome, I would want to know, first of all, I want to know the cause. Because post this new injectable that came out in 2020, you guys know what I'm talking about. A lot of people were getting neuropathy and then, that whole neuro system problems that we're seeing now, POTS, anxiety, neuropathy, blood clots, blood pressure issues, lightheadedness, like all the stuff that, we've seen before, but not in the amount we're seeing now, like crazy amounts. So, I mean, it's not easy to answer that question without knowing what's the root cause of your restless leg syndrome. What I can tell you though is it's important to be active. However, you don't, well, I'm not telling you what to do. Again, this is entertainment. What I tell my patients, just if you want to be a fly on the wall, is don't ever exercise at night because that can exacerbate restless leg at night. So if you're going to be active, yay, but I tell my patients, please don't do it at night because you might notice that your restless leg gets worse. And when I say active, because sometimes people that stand on their feet all day end up with that at night. Menopausal women, we get restless leg syndromes too. If you're not getting enough sleep, you can get it. Obviously, we know, I should say, obviously, I don't know if you know this, but caffeine can make it worse. I am not drinking coffee right now. I'm drinking non-sweetened, no sugar added cocoa powder. I'll mix in a little bit of dark chocolate syrup and then a little bit of milk and hot water, and that's my treat. I mean, obviously, there's probably a little caffeine from the chocolate, but there's that. Nicotine and alcohol can make restless leg syndrome worse, but we all know that. Well, those of you that are menopausal, we all know if we drink alcohol, we're much worse, right? Much worse. I like, at least for myself, like Epsom salt baths with because it's got magnesium. Heating. Oh, I tell you, I love heating pads. I use heating pads, heating blankets. It's just my thing now. I guess because I'm older now, right? And even in the car this morning, it was so cold. I turned on the heat seats and I'm like, oh, I forgot how good that felt, like on a sore back, right? Some people say getting lower leg massages helps them, but I am a big fan of magnesium. So I know that if you're not getting enough magnesium in your diet, you're going to be more prone to insulin resistance, weight gain, muscle cramps, and of course, restless leg syndrome. And it same goes with the B vitamins, because as we get older, we don't absorb B12 like we used to. So it's really important to get, the variety of B vitamins, and obviously avoiding sugar. And I mean, I've tried chamomile tea. It didn't really do anything for me, but maybe for someone else it would. I've tried passiflora or passion flower tea. It didn't really do anything for me either, but I don't know. And then some people like to do valerian tea, but then you're not allowed to drive. Well, you're not supposed to drive or operate heavy machinery after valerian tea. So there you go. I know, I mean, there's other things like natural medication wise, which I won't go into here because I don't know. I don't want to be practicing medicine on YouTube, but those are just some things that are easy. I like everyone's suggestion here. Yeah, people like magnesium in that heating pad. Yeah, you guys know a lot. This is good. Okay. Yeah, just be careful with Tylenol. Don't take too much. Don't do it every day. Be careful with your dosaging because, I mean, every time I rarely take it, but if I take it, I'm like, oh my God, my liver's going to take a hit. I better make sure that I don't do anything else toxic today, Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I forgot about that. Yeah, the CBD. I've had some patients, they love that CBD cream and ointment and Voltaren. Some people can take Voltaren. Some people cannot tolerate Voltaren. Yeah. So Lisa, what you're saying about that. Yeah. And again, I don't know how old you are. I just know like a lot of menopausal women start complaining about restless leg syndrome. And from what I've seen in practice is when I can replace bioidentical progesterone in women, it really helps protect the myelin sheath of nerves and really calms down inflamed nerves. And you know what? There's research with red light therapy and neuropathy, RLS, and all that. And I feel like red light therapy is so safe. And nowadays you can actually buy these masks and things like that to use at home. But that's another way to go, at least as far as things that are available to the public over the counter, But again, yeah. I know. It is so interesting talking about like stuff like that. Yeah, red light laser therapy at home. Yeah. Jen says, is AFib serious? Well, so, okay, people can have AFib their entire life and not know it until someone listens to their heart and catches it. So you guys, you know what AFib is? It's atrial fibrillation, where you hear your heartbeat go lub dub, lub dub, lub dub, lub, 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 dub, lub, dub, lub, dub, blah, 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 blah. You see what I'm saying? So you'll get, the irregular heartbeat or like a fibrillation. And I'll say eventually it can be serious because the risk of blood clot goes up because, you have 4 chambers in the heart. The blood is supposed to slosh from one chamber to the next. But when you have lub, okay, here's the top of the, here's the bottom, lub, dub, lub, dub. And when you get lub, 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 dub, okay, now the blood is just swishing back and forth and not moving from chamber to chamber. And when it's sloshing together and not going the right direction and into the body, it can form blood clots there. And so back in the old days in medicine, when I was younger, a lot of times we would put people with AFib on a baby aspirin. A lot of doctors are getting away from baby aspirin, and I get it, but there was a lot of research on baby aspirin, and originally from willow bark, right? That's where aspirin comes from. Decrease the amounts of colon cancer. And you guys, colon cancer is on the rise, right? Among young people, I should say. So again, I'm concerned about forever chemicals. Nobody should be eating out of Teflon. In fact, over Christmas break, I scoured the kitchen, all our pans and cookware that had Teflon. I stacked it up. I'm like, we're throwing it out because Teflon, right? Very toxic. And my husband's like, well, why don't we just give it away to charity or Goodwill? I'm like, no, I'm not going to poison someone else. We're throwing this out. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those chemicals you just don't want to be cooking out of, right? Yeah. Yeah. See, some people can't take aspirin or blood thinners. That's right. Yeah. Not everyone can take it. It's not a one size fits all. So yes, I think AFib needs to be monitored, and you should probably be checked out for mitral valve prolapse because that sometimes goes hand in hand with AFib. And that would be nice to know because, again, you can have that your whole life, but sometimes it becomes more of an issue when you're older. Yeah. Scott, isn't that great? The Apple Watch can track AFib. I know. It's so cool. Yeah. That's too small of a dose. High potency. Okay. You guys are just, ooh, gosh, you take 500 milligrams every morning. So, FYI, we have seen people get very, I'll use the word scarred up GI, like intestines, stomach lining, whatnot, from NSAIDs, non-steroidal anti-inflammatories like aspirin, Advil, ibuprofen, and stuff like that. So a lot of GI doctors, because that's what they see, would never prescribe aspirin or Advil or ibuprofen because they see what too much of it can do. And so just be wary, right? Doesn't it seem like that? Like too much of anything, even water, right? Water intoxication. You drink too much water at once, you can literally go into a coma. I think it's like you have to be careful with everything, I guess, is the lesson, right? Your mom has a pacemaker and the doc told her to take a baby aspirin every day. I mean, I get it. Yeah. I mean, if some people can handle it and it's not causing any irritation to their stomach, it's not making their gums bleed or their nose bleed, baby aspirin actually taken every day. Again, I have some people that do that in my practice. I have some people that are on it every day because I don't want them to have a stroke or a heart attack because they've got other things going on. For me, myself, I don't take one every day. I try to take one at least once a week, but they can also worsen nasal polyps. And many of us have had or deal with nasal polyps sometimes in our life, and that can make that worse. So that's not great. Let's see. I have a hole in my heart and AFib, but my beta blocker works great. Yes. Okay. I have mitral valve prolapse, another valve issues, EDS, Ehlers-Danlos syndrome causes a lot of my issues. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, beta blocker. Yeah, that's fine. It's been around forever, generally pretty safe. And then it just kind of slows the heart rate down, but makes the contraction more effective. So that makes sense. Omeprazole or whatever works for stomach. I am not a fan of proton pump inhibitors. So I don't personally prescribe Prilosec or omeprazole or Prevacid or whatever, because in my opinion, maybe temporarily, like maybe after surgery or whatever, or if they need it for 2 days and then off of it. But I've had some patients that come to me and they're on it. They've been on it for months and months. I'm like, why are you on it for this long? Like, you need stomach acid. It fights bacteria. It can, there's a whole book out. I've talked on my videos before. It's by, it's called, oh gosh, Linda, oh, she's a gastroenterologist, and oh, the name will come. Oh, No More Heartburn. It's called No More Heartburn. And she's a gastroenterologist. She wrote this book, and she does not prescribe proton pump inhibitors because she says we need this very perfect balance of acid and base that goes on in our body and our stomach. And if you just stop acid production, that is part of the immune system, killing virus, bacteria, and all that. So I'm not telling you what to do. I'm just saying, like, here's some education you can talk to your doctor about. Oh, I wanted to say help for stomach problems who are taking diclofenac or naproxen, ibuprofen, aspirin, etc. Yeah. As far as diclofenac comes, it does come in a topical. Diclofenac is also called Voltaren, and it is a topical. So a lot of times if someone wants diclofenac, I'm like, did you know there's a topical, just so we can bypass the gut? But we have to be careful with diclofenac, even in a topical, because, it's still an NSAID. It has been known in some people to worsen certain heart conditions. So still got to be careful with that, just like everything, of course, right? Sharon. Oh, Sharon's from LA. I had to wear an N95 mask today, and I have smoke from all the fires in my area. Sharon, I hope you're okay. And it didn't even dawn on me. Yeah, wearing an N95, that's such a good idea to like filter it out and not breathe all those toxic. I'm more worried about the toxic fumes in the smoke. So I hope you're okay. And I'm glad you're on here commenting. Oh, and Brenda, you had some duodenal ulcers and you were taking off NSAIDs. Yeah. Yeah. So if I have patients that can take NSAIDs, like I'll maybe point them towards turmeric, which, I take turmeric myself for my back issues. If you find a really high, like I found a really high quality one at Whole Foods. It cost a lot. And I was like, oh, I don't know if you're listening, but so my husband, I even texted him like, you're not going to believe this, but I just took this turmeric and like my pain is gone. Such a great anti-inflammatory, and you can cook with it. It's kind of great. Your cardiologist put you back on a baby aspirin a day. Yeah. 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 It depends on the person. And I know I've used it too. I mean, I've had some people where I'm like, well, you could benefit with some aspirin, but like they're really healthy. And I'm like, yeah, maybe we'll just do some willow bark, Oh, thanks, Salamea. Thank you for that. I don't recommend anyone reducing their stomach acid levels. That's right. That's right. And especially, I know I harp on menopausal women because I am one, but does our GI system and our stomach change as we get older? Like we need stomach acid. So sometimes I'll take digestive enzymes without bile from ox bile derivative extracts because I can't handle that yet. So I just do the digestive enzymes, chewable, and they're delicious. But I could see someday I might need those ox bile extracts to break down. But I'm just not eating a lot of meat right now anyway. So not against it. I'm just, if they're raised ethically, whatever. How do you take turmeric? I've taken it a few different ways. I bought the cooking spice and I'll like put it in my food. And then, like I said, I bought a high quality supplement and, I just took it as a herb capsule and it was great. Sharon, how much? That's patient dependent. So what one person needs, another person might not need, etc. So it just depends on the person. The nice thing about turmeric, it's pretty safe, but someone could be allergic to anything. You just never know. 6 to 8 Tylenol a day. Wow. Okay. All right. Well, if it's working, like I said, none of us are going to make it out of here alive. We're all not living forever. If Tylenol is helping your quality of life and you have to take that much, like, yeah, but you're aware of the toxicity, right? Okay. Thank you, Jen. all the tests for liver and kidneys. Yeah, that's good. Even with being on all that medication. Okay. My stomach is broken. It's releasing blood. I get very sick. I have to take omeprazole. Yeah. Hey, I'm sure there will come a day. Well, there will be one person that I'm seeing it. Like, it's not that I've never recommended it. I just don't keep them on it long term. Like if I have someone with H. pylori, and I'm putting them on the triple therapy, I might have them on it for like a little bit of time, and then I get them off of it. Yeah. Yeah. This one said turmeric with black pepper. You know what was interesting? I read in that book, How Not to Die. I forget the name of this doctor who wrote it. It's another great book. And, there's really some fantastic how do you say it? There's diindomethane or I say dim and I3C that's in broccoli, right? Very protective to those worried about getting certain cancers, breast cancer. And it's very protective to breast tissue. And if you sprinkle the spice mustard seed on broccoli, it helps release those even more. Isn't it interesting how nature can work together with things? I just think that's so cool. So yeah. Okay. Well, yeah, I thought it was important that we do this live, and I just wanted to talk about all those things we talked about tonight. So we're almost an hour in, and I hope you guys otherwise are, doing the best you can for 2025, because it's already been an interesting first week plus of the year. Yeah. Oh, you take Eliquis after that injectable? Yep. Fenugreek, yeah, for migraines. Yep. I'm not saying you should do that. I'm just saying it's been known throughout history to help with migraines. Okay. There's so many good things here. I can't get off because I'm reading all the comments. Yeah. Oh, there's my dog in the background. He's just finding something to do. Okay. Thank you guys for being here. Have a good night. I hope you're staying warm, and I'll see you again pretty soon. I love your comments, by the way. So, and if you could do me a favor, if you enjoy this type of content, I'll keep doing more lives. Just give it a like, because that way I know, because sometimes my videos get a lot of likes and sometimes they don't. And I'm like, I'll focus on these kind of videos. But these are kind of fun because it helps direct me which way to go. Oh, Sharon has said the winds on Wednesday were not Santa Ana winds, but hurricane type winds. Up to 71 miles per hour. So we're really windy here today. Sharon, are those the ones coming from that polar vortex coming up north? And maybe you're getting like the outer fingers of that vortex? I mean, I don't know. It's just tragic. It's just tragic all around what's happening to LA. It's just tragic. Okay, everyone. Thank you for being here. See you on the next one.